Good morning, good morning. It's about 5, 6 a.m. here in Dallas, Texas, or near Dallas, Texas. Alright, my little video is not going to be as polished and set up, I guess, as some of the guys' videos, but definitely I think this is warranted. Women definitely need, or rather deserve, the same type of commentary and coverage on women's boots. You know, I did a lot of searching, and you know, there was a ton of men's videos covering boots, and there wasn't a whole lot about the women's boots. All right, so I want to sit up here and take a moment and go over a number of boots. As a matter of fact, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and really 14 pairs of boots, and I'll pull out that 14th pair of boots here in a little bit. Alright, and so, like I said, it's not going to be as polished as the guys. I wrote a lot of stuff down. We have a lot of boots. And so, you know, I didn't want to forget anything as I go over them. Alright, so I'm about to go over a number of boots. Many running $300 to $400, but we do have like some $200 boots in here. And there are a couple that I bought used, which really helps out. And you may have heard from a lot of the male hunters. I mean, that's just the way to go. I mean, some of these boots, I have a pair of boots here that cost about $500. No, you know, especially when you're getting, you know, when you're just getting started. So you definitely want to check out the Goodwills. I got a lot of boots on eBay, which helps out a lot, especially when they're, you know, $300 boots. So you have a number of boots here that I didn't pay the full $400 for. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. My thing scrolled. Not good. Okay. Alright, so, you know, I did want to mention really quickly, when I got started, I started off with just a pair of regular hunting boots, a pair of rubber boots, and a pair of snake boots, which you'll see here. And as I progressed, as I went out and I hunted more, I needed different boots for different situations. Definitely no, does not call for 14 boots, but you'll hear about that here in a moment. Alright, but I did want to say, you know, a boot is really about what you do. It's about what you do, where you live, so the type of terrain that you're covering. You know what I mean? A boot that's meant for the desert is not necessarily going to be good in the mountains, okay? And so you really have to take in consideration your own personal situation. And also, you know, a boot has a lot to do with your foot. All right, so, you know, a boot that serves me well, that fits my foot well, I'm a narrow, you know, may not fit or feel as good for you. So one thing that I did like or do like, you know, with some of these more expensive boots, I mean, you order them, you say, okay, I want to spend about $400 or $500 on a pair of boots. Go ahead and order them, try them on. You know, I'm not telling you to go out, don't go out and hunt them. And so try them on and see how you like them. And then if you don't, just go ahead and send them back. You know, so no love lost. All right, just takes a little bit of time and patience to do. I don't know why my thing keeps scrolling. All right, so let's go ahead and kind of get started. And I wanted to start off, one, with talking about the 4-boot rule. No, let me put this air conditioner off here. Okay. Weird. The remote didn't work. All right. Okay, so the 4-boot rule. I'm going to tell you, I checked the 4-boot rule. The 4-boot rule pretty much tells you, you know, you need like a summer or warm weather hiking boot, you need a regular boot, you need a pack boot, you need a rubber boot. Alright, that works in his world, and what he does not work for me. I tried to do the 4-boot rule, and we're sitting up here looking at 14 boots. Alright, so again, like I said, everything has to do with what you do. You know, and you'll find that I bought, you know, a number of these boots out of necessity. So I prefer to look at boots in terms of season and game. What are you chasing down, and what does the weather look like? Because everything's not going to cut it in every situation, right? So in other words, you know, it's condition and need. So at this point, you know, I don't really deer hunt. I do have, you know, some equipment for deer hunting, but I'm not really a deer hunter. So I don't sit in stands during cold weather. So, you know, you might need a different boot than the ones that you see here. All right, so, you know, I'm a rabbit hunter, squirrel hunter, coon. So I go out night hunting. So coon hunting, hog, turkey, dove, upland birds, and waterfowl. You know, so I have dogs and gear that fit that situation. All right, and when I use my boots, I ask this question: do I feel comfortable? Do I feel safe? Do I feel comfortable? Do I feel safe in this boot? So let's take a look at the seasons and the terrain. All right, so I kind of put everything kind of circularly. I know you can't see everything, so I'll be pulling them here towards the center. In spring, which spring's right now, in Texas, it rains a lot. All right, so I got a lot of muddy, you know, I got warm, sunny days, but the mud has not dried out in the field, you know. So I got a lot of muck and mud when I go out, and it's warm, which is perfect for snakes. All right, and so here we have the Lacrosse Alpha 4X snake boots. All right, so this will get me through the muck and the mud and protect me from those pesky snakes that are dying to give me a chomp. All right, so that's what I have this for, mainly, you know, for spring weather, and you know, and into the fall, whenever we have a rainy season. Definitely, you know, these boots will be going on. All right, secondly, going into summer, so it's warm and dry, starts to get a little bit like a desert. You know, and depending on what part of Texas you go to, you know, we have, I want to say that desert-like atmosphere, you know, the cactus and all the dried out stuff. That's when we have our Vaprtreks. Our Vaprtreks. People praise these Vaprtreks to the sun. And I'm going to tell you something. I bought these things, you know, I bought them new. You know, they're supposed to be the best snake boots on the market. You know, people praise them to the moon. I'm going to be honest with you. When I first got them, I said the same thing. Man, wears like a sneaker. You know, I'm getting my miles in, you know, and I'm sitting up here, I'm spending hours and hours in these boots and stuff. And first time they went out, they were waterproof. After that, they were leaking like a sieve. So, you know, I actually hate these boots. I'm going to be honest with you. And I really wanted to replace them. Can't wait to get rid of them. And I will be looking for an opportunity to do that. And so you may be wondering a little bit, why this snake boot and this snake boot? They can do the same thing. No. All right, I'm not really a rubber boot guy. All right, and so all the mucking around and this, I want to say semi-heavy, and all this is just, it's not me, and it's too warm. So I really don't want to wear this unless it's necessary. Unless it's really wet outside, I do not want to have on my my Lacrosses. You know, I want something lightweight, something I can move in, something that's snake-proof. And so, you know, I prefer, you know, something like this. All right, but like I said, this just had low performance, and the last time that I was in them, a part of it cut my ankle. You know, so me and my dogs were out hunting. You know, I'm a mile, more a mile out, and it has cut my ankle really, really good. You know, and it's rubbing up against it. And then my feet are soaking wet. Okay, because, you know, they're turned out to be creeks and small streams, and these are not really waterproof. They're one-time waterproof. So be aware of that. These suck pretty badly. but they're what we have right now. All right, so really don't like the Vaprtreks, but they fit real good. Will help out if you lace them up properly. You know, I thought they were pretty tight, and maybe in all my walking and carrying on, they loosened up. But either way, a piece of plastic or whatever is inside of them rubbed my ankle and cut it open pretty bad, and I actually have a scar now. And so here we are, me and my dogs in the woods, hiking out a mile or so with cut and wet feet. It's not fun. All right, let's take a look here. Fall. Okay, so going into fall. So we've done spring with the Vaprtreks for the snakes and all the wet weather. Speaking of that, what I meant with the iris setters, you know, I would have thought, you know, since they were supposed to be waterproof, let's pretend that they were, they pick up mud terribly. All right, so I walk around, you know, like mud man. You know, it's awful, awful. So really just not fun at all to wear. So going into fall, this is when we've got mild weather and it's transitioning to a more tolerable cold weather. This is when we do, you know, our upland hunting, you know, more rabbit hunting, squirrel. Rabbit hunting is really open all year round, as well as squirrel here in Texas. It just depends on where you go, but it's really a year-round thing. But really, the places that were closed start to open up in the fall. So you got your rabbit, your squirrel, coon hunting is really, you know, hitting off coming into the fall, and then you have your fall turkey hunts, and then duck season is up and open, which call for waders, and I won't be covering those today. But the conditions, the grasses are pretty tall out here, so you're looking at, you know, grass that's up here, you know, that really gets close to waist high, and some of it, you know, can get up, you know, up around your midsection and everything else. So grasses are really tall, and there's low visibility. All right, and so this, I want to say this is my favorite, but this is my go-to boot. This is my Dan's frog legs. All right, this is kid style. I know. You know, it's kind of like, you know, as women, you know, once you've had a woman's boot that fits your feet, you know, you really don't want to wear a men's. But this one's pretty good. This is my go-to boot. This is the one that, this is the pair of boots that I wear most often. All right, and you see that they look almost new. That's because, you know, I care for them, and we'll be talking about boot care towards the end of this. But yeah, I wear this constantly. You know, in the fall, going into the winter, they just fit every situation. You know, unless you need, you know, unless you're stocking something, you know, because these do make a little bit of noise here when you're moving around. But they're just suitable for everything because they're snake proof all the way up. They're snake proof. They're waterproof, so if you need to wade through a small, I want to say small river, but through a creek or something like that, a small waterway, and I am for sure, you know, one of the things that happened when I went on my last excursion in my Irish setters, the water was in fact higher than the boot. All right, but that won't happen with these, which makes them great, especially when you're exploring, you know, unknown terrain. You don't know what you're going to run into. You can still get across those crucial waterways. So definitely this is my go-to boot for just about everything. But they are a little, I won't say they're heavy or cumbersome, but I guess, yeah, that would be the word, a little bit cumbersome. You know, it's almost like it's a bit much, but, you know, I do a lot of training in it, and like I said, this is the best boot for exploring areas. The boot itself is very comfortable. It's actually a Muck boot that's sewn onto a snake chap. Definitely, you know, and I learned this in, you know, coon hunting. So definitely one of my go-to boots. Best boot that I use, definitely by far. All right, also in the fall. So this one is new. This is our Zamberlan's Vioz. All right, it's got a nice little Vibram sole. Very comfortable boot. Nice, lightweight. Good for hiking. Absolutely love it. Enjoy it. Definitely a good boot to use. Nice leather upper. You know, the sole's got a little bit of give in it and stuff. Definitely a good boot. A good boot. All right, so I use this for upland hunting with with snake gators, and then my upper, since I said tall grass, has briar-proof chaps. So I just throw on my briar-proof chaps, throw on my boots and my snake boots. Of course, you probably laugh like, oh my gosh, you know, so many boots already. So many boots already. And, you know, I'm using this for that simply because I'm lightweight. You know, I'm going to be out there for hours. I'm hiking, you know, you wear this because, you know, you have to, you need to, but whenever possible, you want to get out of that bulkiness. You know, you want to get out of that bulkiness, and so this is my way of getting out of that bulkiness. Again, this is just me. All right, so fall going into winter, we have Danners. All right, we have Danners. All right, so these are a pair of Danner Yellowstones. Not bad. All right, full leather up. Well, not full leather upper. You got nice leather upper, and you have nice Vibram sole. All right, and so this boot for me is my night hunting boot. You know, when it's dark, you know, I really want to feel the ground underneath me. You know, and these allow me, you know, to feel what's happening underneath me. And you'll find some of these boots on this list, their sole is a little bit thick. And so you have a bit of a disconnect from you and the ground. And that might be good for somebody who has, you know, a lot of rocky terrain. You don't want to feel all those rocks, but you still want that stability. Me, I want to feel the ground. I want to feel the logs, and I want to feel all the stuff, and I want to grip onto it to get where I'm going at night. All right, and I did want to kind of mention too, you know, a lot of these boots have good thick leather surrounding it, you know, and so it's okay to wear like a snake gaiter with it, you know, instead of having the full-on snake boot, wearing a snake gaiter. Snake's not going to be able to get through the thick leather. It's not on every piece of leather, but, you know, for the most part, you know, you're still pretty well protected. All right, so that's just something to keep in mind. You know, thinking you just go throw on my snake gaiters, I'm good. You know, you need to really think about just the logistics of everything as you go through. All right, so, also what I wanted to say about these was, you know, they do take a little bit of break-in, but once you get them broke in and the leather warms up, and you'll find this out, as the leather warms up, fit like slippers, like gloves. I mean, you just don't want to take them off. So I really, really, you know, love these, and I know, you know, as I'm trekking through the woods at night, that I'll be comfortable and happy. All right, so next we have winter. All right, so now I have the Danners Pronghorn. All right, and I wasn't going to get these boots. I was not going to get these boots, but something compelled me, and I'm telling you, I'm very happy with that purchase. Like I said, these three boots here, the Danner Yellowstones, which I'm sure are pretty close to comparable with the Sequoia and the Sierra. Lost my train of thought. Well, they're good for winter when it gets cold, you know, but, I mean, Texas isn't known for having really, really cold weather, except for this year. But it does get cold. All right, so minimal insulation is no longer going to be your friend, you know. The snakes will now be gone to the ground. All right, and so that's when, you know, I pull out my 1,000, gram thinsulate, pronghorns. All right, because upland season's still going. Me and my dog are still out there, and it doesn't quit until February sometime. Okay, so it is cold. It's 20, 20 degrees or less outside. This is what I'm pulling out. This is what I'm wearing. To keep me warm, it's flexible so that I can do a lot of hiking in it. Absolutely love these boots. All right, wonderful. And my feet will be a little bit too cold in these. This one might try it, but again, it's a little bit bulky. It's a little bit bulky. And if I'm going out, to hunt, for hours and hours on end, I want to be as light as possible. So that is the Danner Pronghorn. Nice leather upper, good flexibility. Can hunt all day in them. Waterproof. I think these do not have the Vibram sole. They have the Danner Terra Force patented sole. All right, but these are a very good boot for what I'm doing. All right, so now we're going to move on to our specialty boots. All right, so for our first specialty boot is the Baffins. All right, so deer hunters, you guys might hear about Baffins. All right, so I got myself a pair of Baffins. These were some eBay boots, and I'm telling you, these were a lifesaver. This winter was insane in Texas. The power outages, we didn't have power for days. It was 6 degrees in the daytime, so you can imagine what it was at night. And I'm telling you, with no power, no anything, I threw on my Baffins. I slept in the freezing cold in Baffins and some more hunting gear, and I'm telling you, I slept just fine. All right. My feet did get a teeny tiny bit cold, but not enough to really bother me. So definitely these are a good boot. And I chose this boot to wear their snow boot. So they work really well in the snow and ice. And the flexibility that I was getting. I really want to be able to move. So when I go for hunts outside of the Texas area where it's much colder, Baffin boots. It's like an inferno inside. I can't believe it. I stick my foot in, and within seconds, they just start. You can feel the heat radiating off this boot. So I absolutely love this boot. Like I said, I got it used on eBay. A little worn, broke in, and I'm telling you, I would not trade them. I'm not really looking to trade them unless I get another Baffin boot like this. So definitely. It's a great boot to have. All right, so the next boot on our specialty list is the Lowa Renegade GTX mid boot. Very comfortable boot. Absolutely love it. I bought this trying to do the 4-boot rule. All right, and then of course later on we chucked that 4-boot rule because it just doesn't work for me. It might work for him, might work for some people, but 4-boot rule does not work for me. So I got this to do my summer hiking. Absolutely love it. It's got the Vibram sole, nice leather upper, all that, very comfortable. It is a little bit, it's retired. I wanted to use it for training, and I may still do that, with the dogs, so that I can get, a lighter training session. It's not as bulky, and I can move around a lot better, or a lot freer, feeling a lot freer. And I may still do that, but right now it's pretty much relegated to simply use at work. You know, I stay on my feet a lot at work, and these are a great boot to have for that. Also, you know, I carry a pretty heavy pack to and from work, and it's a small hike. So definitely a good boot, a good boot. Again, like I said, I bought it to train my dog in the field, and not necessarily just to go, you know, hunting in. Just it's an okay boot. You know, I wouldn't rank it as one of my best, but this is a favorite for a lot of people. This is a favorite. You know, and I bought it because of that, and, you know, pretty much, I'm going to be honest, the Vioz kind of just knocked them away. And so, you know, they're knocked away, and they're being used now for a different purpose. Okay, let's see what we have next on our list. So next we have Schnees. Okay, so you guys might not have heard much about Schnees, maybe, maybe not. These are the Schnees Granite 200 gram thinsulate. All right, so I bought these. Again, these are specialty boots. I bought these for mountain hunting. You know, you do have that disconnect I talked about earlier. Got a nice Vibram sole, good traction, you know, on the terrain, and everything's a very comfortable boot. Fits well. It's a little bit, you can feel a little bit of looseness, and I want to warn you guys about that, because some of these boots that you buy going hunting is going to have that little bit of looseness. Okay, especially when you get into the lower insulation, right? And so what the manufacturers are doing is making it so that you can put on socks, these thicker socks, as the weather changes, and still use your boot. So they leave a little bit of extra room, so you're going to have a little bit of that space on the inside for you to wear your thicker socks for winter. All right, so, and I definitely wanted the low insulation because the mountain hunting that I do is during the summer and warmer weather, warmer climate. So definitely great boot, nice, decent flex, a lot of leather, a lot of support, Okay, and so these are pretty well new. They're not really broken in. So definitely be looking for an update on how these are turning out. All right, the next specialty boot that we have is Crispi Skarvin. Absolutely love these boots. They do have that thick sole. Which gives you that disconnect. And again, it might work really well for some of you guys that live in rocky terrain. It's based off of the Crispi's Nevada, the men's Nevada. It's an 8-inch boot, which surprised me because when I put it on, it felt low. You guys take a look at it side by side here with this. It felt low, so I felt like I was wearing this Vioz, which is actually like an inch or two shorter than the Skarvin. All right, so I was surprised to do that. And so wearing this boot is a little bit about understanding it. You know, because when you get it, what you have is you have like this slant, you know, and it just goes up, you know, like this, and you're just like, wow, what do I do? So I put these boots on, and immediately I felt the ankle support, which is really good. So it's got good ankle support, nice leather upper, it's got the Vibram soles, it's got the rubber band around it, but I wasn't wearing it quite right. So it was really kind of stiff feeling, and then once I looked at it, and I compared it to my other boot, because these are actually the same. Be 8 inch. So these are actually the same size, 8-inch boots. All right. So anyway, so once I looked at them, I said, okay, if these are supposed to be like this, you know, I just changed the way I laced them a little bit, and so I got it to go around the top, and really this section, this black section right here, is where you get that flexibility and that bend from, and so you can begin to see how it becomes a boot. Well, it's a boot, but you see what I'm saying. You just start to define the upper, so to speak, like this. All right. Unfortunately, I will be sending these Crispies back. I really enjoy them, and they have that looseness I was talking about for you to add that extra insulation with socks. But I just don't. You see, I have a number of boots here. I just don't have a need for it. I actually bought these to be my my side heeling pack boot for mountain hunting, and they just didn't have. They had great ankle support here, but they just didn't have enough support that went up the leg. All right, which caused me to buy the Schnees. But definitely, this is a lovely, wonderful boot, and I really wished that I could buy something like this. I mean, well, something like this from Crispi's, but they don't make them. All right, and that brings me to my point about women's boots. All right, so women's boots are constantly being discontinued. I think the Pronghorn now is discontinued. You know, I wanted to replace my Irish Setter snake boots with the Danner Wayfair snake boots, but I was a little bit too late, and so now they've been discontinued. All right, so women's boots are being discontinued. Manufacturers are not making them, and so when it came to me trying to get a good stiff mountain boot, the only people that were making them were Kenetrek and Schnee's. All right, and that kind of brings me to my whole issue with Kenetrek and why it's not here. Because it's definitely something I looked at. People said it's the best boot, you know, and, you know, I follow now a little bit of Gear Junkie. You know, they have a whole list of, you know, great boots for women and, you know, other issues like that. And as I read up on them, I was seeing a lot of people slipping and falling in wet weather, as in they're not good in the rain. And so I just couldn't fathom me trying a $500 pair of boots that is going to leave me, you know, with a broken leg or something out in the woods. It's just too much of a risk, you know, too much of a risk. But a good thing to say about the Kenetreks is, regardless, these same people that were talking about slipping and falling in the wet conditions still praise the boot to all heck, you know. But I just personally, I can't be boot blind like that. You know, I just can't. If I'm going to slip and fall, I don't need the boot at all. Just don't. Okay, so there's none of that. But yes, the Crispies are a wonderful, wonderful boot. Absolutely love it. And perhaps if I didn't have these bows, also I bought these new. So these cost me $400. And so they're definitely going back because I paid like $50 for the Zamberlans used. So definitely these can go back. But I definitely enjoy them. They just did not have enough support going up the leg for what I was trying to do. All right, but these are a good all-around boot. Definitely a good all-around boot, especially if you don't mind that disconnect or want that disconnect from your foot and the ground. Again, I'm just sending them back simply because I have no use for them. You know, I have other boots that do what these do, and just don't, you know, I just don't need them. You know, especially for the $400. All right, so the next specialty boot that we have here is the Lacrosse Buckmasters. I'm going to have to come around here for a quick second. Alright, so we have the Lacrosse Buckmasters. Unfortunately, these were another pair of boots that have been discontinued. I don't know how long ago. I bought these off eBay, and these are one of my male boots. But I'm telling you, it's 13 inches high, full leather upper, Even when it looks like it's not leather, this is leather, just a different type of it. Just an outstanding boot. And it went toe to toe with the Baffins in terms of cold weather. Definitely went up against it. And I was going to put these up for sale, but I just can't. I can't really replace these. I'm going to be honest, or not yet. I can't replace them yet. I bought the Schnees to replace them because this is my very stiff mountain boot. But I mean, these are just a phenomenal boot. I mean, the support is 13 inches high. The support that you get walking around in them is just is phenomenal. And you can pull in and out this, I want to say fleece booty. So I mean, it'll go for it'll be good for warm weather as well as very cold weather. Like I said, it went toe to toe with the Baffins. The only reason I didn't wear the Lacrosse during our snowstorm was because Lacrosse was really, really stiff. And of course the Baffins had all this flexibility here to really allow me to walk and maneuver. But when you're not looking to do that type of maneuvering, and you really just want something to hold you upright, because that's what this does. It holds you upright. Your ankles, all that does not move. All right, this is the boot for that. So definitely this will be sitting on my shelf, and I'll pull it out if things get hairy. So I can't see me giving them up. And also, I mean, you just can't buy. I just can't go out and buy another pair. They just don't make them anymore. So definitely this will be sitting in my closet to gosh knows when. All right, and now let's go ahead and get to the rubber boots. All right, so you know, I wanted to get, again, I was trying to do the 4-boot rule at the time, and I wanted to get the very best rubber boots that were on the market. All right, and so, you know, I went to Gear Junkie, you know, I'm about the best boots for women and stuff, and they had Xtratuffs on there. I was like, Xtratuffs, cool, cool, cool. You know, I was like, I might check them out. All right, and I kept looking, I kept looking, and I kept looking, and there was another place that said, no, you need these Chameaux. I was like, okay, let me try. You know, I read up on them, and people were praising them to, oh gosh darn. And I was like, okay, let me look at these Chameaux. All right, so I went and got me some Chameaux. I did not get the Chaucers. The Chaucers are the hunting pair that are custom made to fit your the width of your, of your calves. They have the zipper, you know, and I'm not a fan of zippers. That's one. And they're a little bit rich for my blood, not too rich, but a little rich for my blood. So I got these. I think these are the Country Walkers or something. I got them because of the Vibram. So, you know, I got them even before I got these snake boots here, the Lacrosse snake boots and stuff. I got these, and I said these will be my rubber boot. All right, and I got them with the jersey inside because it doesn't get super cold in Texas, you know. And I said, okay, I can go ahead and put a sock on, and this will do me just fine, you know, in wet weather. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get these, and I'll go ahead and put snake chaps, not snake chaps, but snake gaiters over them to make them snake proof in the spring, and I'll be good to go. Well, I got these in, and one with the snake issue, you know, I really started thinking, and I said to myself, you know what, snakes bite feet. All right, and there's just no amount of gaiter, you know, that, or not yet, there's no gaiter that really covers, you know, the foot area down here like that for it to really be safe. So that kind of relegated this to the back of the line. You know, I'll wear them as much as possible. Absolutely love these boots. Absolutely love the Chameaux. People say they will change your life, and they can. They absolutely can. But here's the deal with them, I'm going to be honest with you. These take some getting used to. They're extremely lightweight. You know, like I said, I got the Vibram soles, so I can do a lot of hiking, a lot of moving in it. Like I said, it gets really muddy out here. So I was just in love with the thought of these. But they initially, if you're not used to wearing rubber boots on a consistent basis, they feel really loose. They feel loose. All right, and that's one of the downsides. So you have to become accustomed to the La Chameaux because they're not really like, you know, walking around in these Lacrosses. You know, if that's what you've been wearing, they're really not like that. And so they take some getting used to. But definitely, these are a great boot. I just wish that they were snake proof, and I may, you know, take my snake gaiters and take my chances. But for right now, these will just kind of sit. You know, during winter, I'll use them when I can. I think this is the boot that I regret the most because I really, if I'm being honest with myself, I really can't use it, even though it's a great boot, simply because it just doesn't do snakes. And warm weather and water definitely attract the snakes. I mean, it just doesn't, it's just not your friend when it comes to that. And I mean, if you want to take your chances with a snake gaiter, by all means, other people do. You know, I just don't want to risk it. You know, maybe I will at some point, but I don't want to risk it. But this boot is great. It really is. Just the most lightweight, life-changing boot. And you look at the other ones and you say, this is what the boot should be. You know, so definitely, like I said, if you want to take your chances and put the snake gaiter over it and go out there, by all means, do that. Because that's what I bought these for. That was the idea that I had for them. And, you know, like I said, this is just a great boot. Great boot. And I would have sent them back, but pretty much, and so be warned with this. If you think you're going to buy these and send them right back, La Chameau wants them in new condition. And this boot is weird in that pretty much the moment you take them out of the box and put your hands in them, you know, hands on them and stick your foot in them, you're going to have like these little scratches, you know, on it where it doesn't look new anymore. And so I kind of got, I want to say, stuck with these in that they looked used when they really weren't, simply because of, you know, how the boot is made. But definitely love these boots. And again, if you're willing to put the snake gaiter over it, these are the boots to buy. Definitely. No doubt. No doubt. Like I said, I might, you know, start feeling, you know, fuzzy and decide to go ahead and put those out there. All right, so the second boot, again, this was me trying to do the 4-boot rule. So I got the La Chameaux, and I was really, really curious about the Xtratuffs that I had seen on Gear Junkie. People praise the Xtratuff to hell and back, you know. So I said, okay, I'll try them out, and I'll send the La Chameaux or the Xtratuffs back, depending on how they are. These are Xtratuf Legacy, I think 16 inch boots. I got mine with neoprene, simply because, you know, I wanted a little more insulation. I knew what I would be doing, or what I'm likely to do with them, which is, you know, get out there in winter with these, you know, and be pushing a boat off, you know, into the water. All right, so I looked at these, I bought them, and I said, okay, I'm going to send them back. Well, I got them, and I'm telling you, gosh darn it, I put these things on my feet, and they've been on my feet ever since. These are called the Alaskan slipper, and I'm telling you that these will become like slippers. I wear them pretty much daily, you know. But what had hindered me from buying them as my rubber boot for the 4-boot rule was that they aren't made for hunting. All right, a while back, you know, I was reading an article or I was listening to a video, you know, I stay in a lot of hunting stuff, and they were talking about what a boot is made for. See, these boots are constructed for a specific purpose. Yes, you can use them for things outside of it, but wouldn't it be better to get a boot that's made for what you're trying to do? Because it will likely be more superior. All right, and so definitely in agreement on that after using it. The soles, I'm telling you, there's no slippage. You know, like I said, I wear these almost daily to work with the dogs, to go outside into my swamp of a backyard. So I'm wearing these all the time. It keeps the dog. I got a little mountain cur that I'm training and working with. Keeps her from pulling me, because she's a lot of dog and a small body. You know, in the rain and the wet and the muck, you know, I definitely feel stable and safe. You know, so when I put my foot down, the foot is down. And the dog is not pulling me, and I will not be slipping and falling on my tail as we are fussing and fighting to get her back in her kennel. Alright, so this is just a wonderful boot. But if you look at the bottom here, you see there's no ridges, you know, to grip a whole lot of stuff. But you do see, you know, some slits in here. These slits pick up rocks and everything else. You know, but again, you know, just overall, I mean, they're living up to their name, Xtratuff. They're tough, and I don't know how well you can see from over there, but these are dirty as heck, and I've had them for like 2 weeks. I have really been just wearing them out, and you know, I wear them like slippers. These are a great boot. I will not be using them for hunting. I don't think, you know, I do not think, but I might. So that concludes, I said I was going to give you guys a look at one other boot, but that pretty much concludes my my rundown of my boots. So I was going to bring you guys another one. Hold on. Take a look at. Alright, these are Irish Setter Lady Hawks. And, you know, I bought these. They were really comfortable. But I'm going to be honest. One thing I didn't like about them was just the grip. There is none. I mean, there's like no grip on here. These stubbles here, and these are almost like new. These stubbles here, they don't grip much of anything. I don't know how they thought that they were making a boot for a woman to go out hunting and they're not gripping anything. I don't know. It seemed like they expected us just to be doing, I guess, upland hunting on flat ground. You know, no hiking, no hills, no, you know, no tree logs, no anything. So these are definitely for sale. They're very comfortable. They fit me well. These are narrow though. I just don't know what to say. You know, they just don't perform like they should, or not like they should, like we would want them to. They just don't present enough grip. They don't hold the ground, and so I just, and they're for sale. And that's all I got to say about them. They're for sale. You know. Now, if you are looking for, you know, kind of a cheap go-round, I can tell you guys what I started off with. Of course, this is unplanned in the video. I can tell you guys what I started off with, pretty much. I started off with, these are about to go for sale as well. Because now I have these, and I have the Chameaus, I have the Xtratuffs. So once I got my my Chameaus, I relegated these redheads. These are redhead neoprene boots. I relegated these to being my run around the house, you know, kind of muck boots. Like I said, my yard turned into a swamp, you know, and everything. And so this is what they were going to become. But I have my Xtratuffs for that, which are doing a phenomenal job. So now these babies have to go. But definitely these are a nice boot. These are a nice boot, you know, to get started. I think I paid maybe $30 $50 including shipping for these. So these were great boots. They got me through a number of things. Now it's time to pass them on to somebody else so they can have fun like me. Also, have another pair of boots, and I'm not certain incidentally, I don't think they make those Redhead boots anymore, but you might be able to find some on eBay. This is also Redhead. So Redhead has been one of my friends here. This is a kid's size 6 Redhead Cub boot. These are a great starter boot. This is what I told my my stepdaughter to purchase for herself. To get her a pair of these, or she might want to try some Cabela Iron Ridge kids boots to get started and get going. These have been my go-to. These are my winter boots, you know, just going outside, messing around type thing, cut the grass in. I mean, that's what they've been relegated to. But definitely, if you're trying to do, if you don't have a whole lot of money, you're trying to do just a singular boot to get you through, you know, a lot of stuff. This is 600 gram Thinsulate, and it's just a great boot. It's got a lot of grip. That's what I love the most. It has a lot of grip. And my Danners kind of replace those. My Danners pretty much, you know, 3 boots replace this one here. So definitely, if you want to save money, looking at a pair or looking for a pair of Redhead Cubs is not a bad idea, and they are waterproof. They got Gore-Tex lining. Just a wonderful, wonderful boot. Like I said, you know, I wear this snot out of mine, and even though they've kind of been replaced 3 times over, 4 times over, they're still sitting in my closet. So that says a lot about them. So this is a great starter boot. If you don't have a whole lot of money, these things will definitely get you going. Okay, so now we've talked about boots. Next thing we need to talk about, and I think this is just as important as going out and buying a boot, is boot maintenance. Okay? You need to maintain your boots. Alright, so for your leather boots, you want to try to get yourself some mink oil. Alright, it keeps it soft, keeps them waterproof, it preserves and conditions the leather. Alright, it also darkens. Alright, so you want to kind of mink oil your leather boots on a regular basis to keep them clean and going. Another staple, snow seal. Snow seal. Alright, so this is something people put on their boots, I think maybe once or twice during a season, to keep them waterproof, to keep those seams and everything, you know, working as they should. You know, so maintenance is really, really important so that you can get the most out of your boots. We got mink oil, we got snow seal, leather protection. Also, you want to keep your rubber boots going. Now, you remember at the beginning of this video, you know, I told you that that these look pretty new. These look like this because I wear the crud out of these boots. These look like this because I treat the rubber. I clean my boot and I treat the rubber. I also treat the upper as well. So all this, I'll say almost like canvas, all this cloth seaming material, I treat it as well with waterproofing and everything else, just to make things last longer. You know, we pay good money for these items, and incidentally, these are not super duper expensive. I think these are like 125 bucks. All right, so not bad, and they're custom made. If you go to a Dan seller, you get to pick the size of your waders, the wader portion, and then the size of your boot a stitch it together special for you. So you got that, and so that kind of takes care of maintenance. You want to take care of the rubbers. You want to keep your boot clean. You want to go ahead and condition the leather on your boots, and all that good stuff, and use some snow seal to help maintain the waterproofing. And I will be trying the snow seal, on these iris setters and see how they do, but I'm not trusting them. And so in comes these socks. So I just bought myself some sealskin waterproof socks. They have a lifetime guarantee, which I like, so no sweat off my brow, and I will be wearing them with my snake boots. And I think just maybe, you should just have a pair. Keep it on you, keep it with you, or just, just wear them, just in case, because the last thing you want to do is be out there hunting, like I was, and fool around, with wet feet. So, definitely when it gets cold, Luckily, I'm not in my spring outfits, but definitely, when it gets cold, you definitely don't want wet feet. Alright, so that's something to think about. I also have a pair of Redhead socks. These also have a lifetime guarantee. If you're going to look to try to follow me on that, you definitely want to read the packaging, because not every Redhead sock that looks similar to this has a lifetime guarantee. And you can get these by going in person to like a Cabela's or something like that in the winter months. They do sell out quickly. So definitely you want to look at some good socks. The last thing I want to mention before I go, and I hope you guys appreciate me taking the time to go over all this. I mean, women, we just don't get the same exposure. But lastly, we have, and incidentally, all these boots are women's boots except for the Lacrosse. They do fit tight, and you'll read about they do fit tight around the ankle, but it's good for me. One, I have a narrow foot, and I really think that that when they make men's, when they start to get smaller, like in a size 6, a size 5, that they're really trying to cater more to women at that size. As a matter of fact, these Chameaux, I purchased the unisex. They were supposed to be unisex boots. These are, like I said, the country walkers, and I got a size 38. That's European. I got a size 38, fit perfectly, and they also are the women's boot. So I don't know how they call themselves working the unisex, but these are the women's boots, and you can tell they are by the strap on the side here. So just be advised to that. So the last thing that I was going to talk about is insoles. Every one of these boots has a pair of insoles in them. All right, I use the Dr. Scholl's arthritic pain insoles, and they seem to do me pretty well. But let me tell you about the insoles. All right, and of course it does affect the fit of the boot. Is that it's not a one-size-fits-all. A lot of these boots up here have the arthritic Dr. Scholl's in them, but I mean the insole has a lot to do with you. It has a lot to do with you. It has a lot to do with your boot as well, how it's made, how flat it is, how much ridge it has. So some of these boots have the Dr. Scholl's Tri-Comfort in them because it didn't need as much support around the arch and the footbed, and so they have those. The Chameaux have a pair of just simple Dr. Scholl's arch support, or it's an arch pane. I have a high arch, and so arch pane in them, and I think I even have one, and you might hear a lot about the Superfoot green or Superfeet green insole. So I have a pair of those in one of my boots. So, you know, everything just depends. The insole depends on the boot itself. And I think you really just have to try to gauge and match what type of support that you need in each individual boot. But definitely insoles are your friend. I don't wear any shoes at all without insoles, some type of insole in them. And you'll notice with a number of these more higher priced boots that they actually begin to, so don't be afraid, they begin to correct your posture, and some of them will correct your gait, the way that you walk. And so I've had boots I put on, I think Pronghorns, I put on, and it threw my shoulders back, and it put me right in, you know, alignment. The lowest that I bought, these were the first shoes that I bought that you could feel the engineering, the R&D, research and development in them. I put them on, and they corrected my gait, my stance, my feet. My feet became parallel. Usually I kind of throw them out like this, and the way that I walked and moved, and I felt the power when I was walking. So definitely the shoes make a difference, you know. And just overall, yes, the shoes make a difference. You don't want to be like me, you know, with your feet cut, your feet wet, you know, hiking 2-3 miles out of the woods, you know, having to turn back. You're in the midst of a great, you know, a great day, a great hunt, and your shoes give out on you or cause you some type of pain. You know, it's just not the thing to do. So definitely, you guys will be hearing back from me as I have more specific things to say about some of these particular boots, and definitely when I replace these iris setters. All right. So that concludes it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I feel really good about at least giving you guys a chance to see and hear about these different boots. You guys have a great day.